GMSspiritwindLevi lawyer of the GMS Mississippi Camp, giving all honor and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Hakudash. I also want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone Ruel. Well as peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David D. Lay. I'm gonna entitle this lesson, that's her nigga, that's her man, you know what I mean? I was just thinking about some things. The reason, you go into these podcasts and the platform is always, a group of Jakes. And there's always some shit like, okay, the black man this and niggas is this, and you watch Pop the Balloon, and basically what I've come to a realization is that basically you're not the so-called white man, and that's the problem. And Great Millstone, we already know that. Just a different perspective, you know what I mean? Just giving a different perspective. The underlying thing is you're not the so-called white man, all right? Because Eve, although we are the same ethnicity, so to speak, of the same nation, that's Esau's woman, man. That's Esau's woman, straight up and down. When a woman likes a man and he calls her voice changes. Just in the real world. And when a woman likes a man and that man calls her on the phone, she changes up her voice. Her voice gets more feminine and lighter. When a so-called black woman gets a call from the so-called white man, whether he's a marketer or whatever, when she thinks the so-called white person on the phone, she transforms into the woman that she thinks he likes. And it's a so-called white woman. She transforms into, that's how you know. The writing is on the wall. That's her man. That's her guy. Okay? When, let's say you in the hood, that guy, that man, that was that guy to that woman, he was a top dude or whatever, she might get his name tattooed on her. Let the world know I'm his woman. In the world, right? She might get his name tattooed on her. She tell the world like, nah, that's my nigga, that's my guy. Yeah. Well, Eve, to let the world know that she's his woman, what did Eve do? Oh shit. What did Eve do? Alright? She got that blonde lace front. She got them blue contacts, them green contacts. You feel me? She put all her energy into that career. She put more of her energy into their career than building a family with the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American man. She put more of her life force, her life currency into their career. All right? Because she's basically telling you, like, nah, this is my man. Like, this is my man. You see? That's her nigga. That's his woman. Eve is his woman. It's not our woman. You see? The way she moves in life ultimately goes to Esau. The negative things she's saying in regards to finances and money, basically, you can't be a so-called black version of a so-called white man. You gotta move like a so-called European, like a so-called white man. If you ain't that off the grid nigga, cause they like them too. You gotta give me a life that the so-called white man could give me. See? She's chipped. All right, that's her man. All right? That's her dude. See? All right, when you lose the war, you lose the woman. It ain't no, if you got to sit there on a podcast and explain why somebody should respect you, like, you should be on that podcast, because women don't work like that. They 10 toes down for the man they want. And it's not Eve 10 toes down when it comes to her career, her job. She 10 toes down, man. When it comes to building this man's kingdom, she's 10 toes down, man. The respect come with it. You know what I mean? That's pretty much the point. short topic. That's her guy, man. That's her dude, man. But I hope this was of edification. You know, children are their oppressors and women ruling over them. I mean, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. The matriarch rules over Jake. And the Most High is raising up an army that is spiritually overcoming that nigga matriarch, that nigga woman matriarch, and is spiritually overcoming a stronghold called Edomite supremacy. And that stronghold is really just an eyes. It's his great projection of himself to the world. And part of their eyes was his narrative of history. His narrative of history in which he was always the conqueror, the winner. He was always the Babylonians. He was the Cushites. He was all those different things. It's part of his eyes. He was always the hero. You know, he won all the wars. That's some great eyes. That's a great eye. He was the Messiah. He was the Most High. It's part of his eyes. OZ, that wizard. He's a wizard, and a wizard created a great projection of himself. He marketed that projection to the world, and the world for a particular time bought it. Now they're getting a refund on his image. They want a return on his image, refund on his image. He sold to them. And he also gave Eve, all right, these eyes that, you know, she watched those Tyler Perry movies. She's some fucking victim, and she's overcoming her eyes, and she's overcoming her deadbeat baby's father, and she just overcoming all. She overcame slavery all by herself. He created a little mini eyes for her, you know? But we know the real Eve. We know a lot of Eve are just animals, little sexual animals, little deviants. You know what I mean? They reproduce with the worst. Or they just try to run everything, you know? But Esau created this eyes for himself and Eve. And in turn, he took the Israelite man, and he worked his potion on him. You know, made him an unaggressive lion, a nice lion. You know, in order to live in this man's dominant power structure, he wants you to trim your ways. He trims your ways through Christianity, for sure. All right? He trims your ways through Esau making himself the handler or the zookeeper, and Jacob's the lion. He trims your ways through feminism, making you nice to your, you know, making you passive to your ribs. You know, he made you trim your ways. So it's like you're the lion without courage on the movie The Wizard of Oz. The lion without courage. That non-dominant lion, man. You know? But, you know, like I said, that's pretty much the point, man. You know, this is wizardry and witchcraft. The Amalekites master, man. The only time Jake is a lion is when he's against each other. He's up to his own people. It's the only time he's lionistic, man. This could tell you that he stood up. There's an old lion who should rouse him up, because he crouched back down during the 70s, during that music era, entertainment era. He crouched back down. Who should rise him up? Yahweh should rise him up. The spirit of prophecy should rise him up. You know, Yahweh Bahashim should rise up that lion. He's rising now. That's pretty much the point. I hope this is edification. Till next time, shalom.